While the idea of using laughing gas to treat depression may sound quirky, or even hopeful at first, the reality is more complex, and in some ways concerning. Researchers have found that nitrous oxide, long used as a dental anesthetic, might have rapid antidepressant effects, even for people with treatment-resistant depression. But before we celebrate it as a breakthrough, it's worth taking a closer look at what these findings actually mean and what risks or limitations they carry. Nitrous oxide, also known as laughing gas, appears to work differently from traditional antidepressants. Instead of gradually increasing neurotransmitter levels over weeks, it acts fast, reactivating certain brain circuits dulled by stress, particularly in the cingulate cortex. That might sound ideal for someone struggling with depression who hasn't responded to existing treatments. But there are important caveats. First, the idea that a single gas inhalation could dramatically improve mood may raise false hope, especially since the long-term safety and durability of these effects are not well understood. The improvements seen in early trials were short-lived, lasting only up to 2 weeks. That means repeated sessions could become necessary, raising the question of long-term exposure risks, something we don't yet have clear answers to. Moreover, nitrous oxide has a long and complicated history. Though it's widely used and generally safe in controlled settings, it also has potential for abuse and neurological side effects. In high doses or with chronic exposure, it can lead to vitamin B12 deficiency, nerve damage, or even psychosis. That raises serious concerns about whether it could be safely adapted for regular mental health use outside of tightly monitored clinical environments. The excitement around its fast action shouldn't obscure the real risks of moving too quickly into widespread application without fully understanding the consequences. Another issue is the mechanism itself. While researchers have identified a new target, potassium channels in L5 pyramidal neurons, this process is still only partially understood. Blocking these SK2 channels may unsuppress certain brain areas, allowing them to become active again after being dulled by chronic stress. But the brain is delicate, and intervening in such a fundamental way may have unintended effects. What happens, for example, if you overactivate these circuits? Could we see side effects like mania, disorientation, or dependence on repeated stimulation to feel normal again? The current research doesn't yet answer these critical questions. It's also worth noting that nitrous oxide, like ketamine, is an anesthetic, not a substance originally developed for mood regulation. Its off-label use for depression reflects the desperation within the mental health field to find anything that works for people who don't respond to standard treatments. That's understandable, but it also speaks to how far we still are from having safe, reliable, and accessible long-term solutions for depression. While this new pathway, separate from the widely studied NMDA receptor route, is scientifically intriguing, it doesn't yet offer a practical or scalable alternative. Right now, the only way to deliver it safely is through clinical inhalation, which means the treatment remains out of reach for many who could potentially benefit. Perhaps the most sobering aspect of this study is what it implies about how limited our current understanding of depression still is. If a drug invented 180 years ago for pain control can suddenly show promise as a fast-acting antidepressant, it suggests that our foundational models of mental illness and how to treat it might be incomplete. That doesn't mean we shouldn't pursue new paths. But it does mean we should move cautiously, especially when dealing with something as sensitive and potentially volatile as the human brain. So while nitrous oxide might one day inform a new generation of antidepressants, perhaps ones that are oral, longer-lasting, and more targeted, we're not there yet. In the meantime, patients with treatment-resistant depression need support systems that don't rely on risky shortcuts. This study adds an intriguing new layer to the science, but it's not a cure. It's a clue, and one that still needs a lot more decoding before it becomes something truly transformative.